together that 4th of July day. That's when the land you're standing on became the U.S. of A. United we will stand, but divided we fall. One nation under God says it all. Men are created equal, words written in the hand. They all stand to fight when a cry for freedom rings. Freedom isn't free, it comes with a cost. One nation under God says it all. One nation under God says it all. This old world's changing, it's changing every day. For the land of the free and the home of the brave. Stand up everybody, stand proud and tall. One nation under God says it all.
Good evening and welcome to IITW Radio. It is, what's the date? 9/27 of 2019. Hell, we're closing in on the end of the year quick. Tonight, as always, on Tuesday nights, we have, or on Friday nights now. It's been switched from Tuesday nights to Friday nights. We have Mr. Greg Williams and Plaid.
Hello.
How you doing, Greg?
Great.
You remind me of Steve Martin when, in that movie, Plaid or whatever it was. What was the name of the movie? You never saw that? Man in Plaid or something like that. Oh,
Interesting.
yeah. I'm good.
Well, hey, I like it. I'm sure it's a great movie. I like Steve Martin.
Yeah, Steve Martin was funny. One wild and crazy guy. Anyways, we got a whole lot to talk about tonight. A bunch.
Hey, okay, go ahead.
I
What's
think that's-
new?
I think that's it. You want to see I'm going to show a picture here. I'll get Chris to put it up. And then I'm going to have one done of you
Yeah.
before we get too many people on the air. Now keep going down. No, it's up there. Right there. Click on that picture. There's a app that we got that will show you what we what we look like when we're not that one.
When we're older.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, this is what I'm going to look like at 100 years old. Chris is going to bring it up here in a second. Huh?
Oh, you look pretty good. Heck, that's good.
Yeah,
You
that's
look
at
good.
that's at 100. You want to see what I look like as a woman? Now this is some
No,
scary crap.
No, I really
Oh, yeah.
don't. Because I'm afraid you might start identifying as a woman.
No, pop that one up there, Chris. There it is, right there.
There you go. Yeah.
If I had to identify as a woman, I make one ugly ass woman. All right, get that off, because that scares the crap out of me. Let me show you what one of my kids looks like as a woman. And now he's a guy right here. He makes a prettier woman than he does a man. That's what William looks like. One of my boys.
How about that? Excellent.
All right, we'll take us down.
He appears to be enjoying himself.
That is funny as hell. He's going to kill me when he sees that tonight. Hopefully he doesn't watch the show. But anyway, so how you been doing this last week?
It is political, you know. This is a political show.
Yeah, how you been doing this past week?
Well, pretty good, pretty good. I'm constantly amazed about how dumb the Democratic Party is.
Man, I have to say I'm really, 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 really disappointed in the Democrats this past week. And usually I don't pick a side. I stay neutral. But the crap that Nancy Pelosi...
They're delusional bunch. Go ahead.
Nancy Pelosi, before the thing even came out on Trump's transcript or whatever, but it was the CIA guy that was in there doing the transcribing. They have two of them in there.
You mean the deep state double agent, the spy?
Isn't that like treason?
I don't even call him a whistleblower. That guy ought to be canned. We cannot have people revealing our president's phone calls with foreign leaders just because they don't like the fact that we've got a strong leader in the White House. There was nothing wrong with that the Ukrainian phone call. I heard it. I pulled the transcript. The Democrats are delusional. I think they're all smoking crack. You got an idiot Hawaiian senator, Medusa. She's like some old crazy Hawaiian senator, female, on the Judiciary Committee. A complete lunatic. I don't know. They lie almost every time they speak. And then you had Schiff lying. He began his whole hearing with a big damn lie. All they do is lie. And they try to make shit up. I mean, they're literally making it up, writing it down, having the New York Times report the made up garbage, and then trying to sell it to the American public. I mean, this is the deep state fighting back, folks. The deep state, it continues to try to screw our president and our country. It's terrible. And I hope it all blows up on him and the president wins in a landslide. And you know what about impeachment? I say bring it on. Bring it, okay? Because he's not going to get it. He's not going to get kicked out of office. The Senate's not going to go along. It's so partisan. It's crazy. But the sad part is just the lying deep state. I'm telling you, the deep state and the Democratic Party and the mainstream media are one. They are one. It's sad.
You know what gets me, though? You're an attorney. You've been an attorney for 100 years. I mean, you're one of the best attorneys I've ever met.
23 years. Hard to believe.
Now, doesn't the rule, correct me if I'm wrong here, because you're an attorney, so I don't want to speak out of line because I'm not an attorney.
So they say, but go ahead.
But doesn't the rule of law apply that innocent before guilty in the United States?
The presumption of innocence is always there unless you're a Republican. Then you're presumed guilty. Oh. Apparently, to the Democrats, only the Democrats are presumed innocent, even when they're guilty as sin. I cannot believe Hillary Clinton is not in prison. I think Obama, they try to say, Pelosi's like, the president didn't uphold his oath, the presidential oath. That is crap. Obama's the one that didn't uphold his oath. Obama was the one selling us out to the Muslim Brotherhood. Obama was the one who encouraged illegals to vote, even though they're not even allowed to vote. He's like, illegal people, vote in the election. We're not going to prosecute you. Really? That's the kind of leadership that Obama provided? All the race crap that he put this country through? The guy was a disaster. He made Jimmy Carter look good. Thank God for Trump. And that's what happened. Bush begat Obama, and then Obama begat Trump. And Trump is saving the country. Perhaps the best president in my lifetime. And the Democrats want to run him. They want to get rid of him. Pelosi's a joke, and OAC's a joke. And the Muslim Brotherhood has infected the Democratic Party. They've infected our State Department. They've infected a lot of stuff because, they had 8 years of being allowed to be part of our country. And they're a terrorist organization, for crying out loud, trying to undermine our country. And yet they have all this influence, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I don't see how the day before they can come out and start yelling, and especially Pelosi. And I thought she had a little more brains than what she does. Hello, Jolie. Jolie says good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, I thought you were going to sing your Jolie song.
Oh, I like that song.
Jolie is always the first one on the show every time that you and I are on here.
Jolie. Go ahead.
Anyways, I don't see how Pelosi, I mean, she's lost her ever-loving mind. She gets on there the day before and starts screaming, we're going to do an inquiry into impeachment, which means absolutely jack squat.
The saddest part is I don't know who has the early stage dementia worse, Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi. And then you got what's his name right behind him, Bernie Sanders. They all seem to be demented, and they have some sort of misfunction or misfiring in their thought process, apparently.
Well, I got to give it to Bernie. He did something that no other candidate has done. He went out to the Indian nations and started talking to them. Now,
You know why?
Well, he's
You know
promised
why?
them free health care and stuff, but they've been.
Do you know why? Do you know why, Travis?
Why? Talk to me.
Because like Pocahontas, Bernie Sanders is an American Indian.
Well, I don't think he's
Just
ever said he
like
was.
Pocahontas, according to CNN.
Yeah, we have a picture of him we'll put up there with the at the
Breaking
powwow.
news.
At the powwow, but you know,
CNN breaking news.
I talked to a couple of
What?
my relatives, and they just said, "Oh, another crazy white guy promising something they ain't going to deliver." Because not one treaty and not one promise has ever been kept to the American Indians. Even when what's his name just died of brain cancer.
Hey, you know what? I think we can build on that. Not only are what you're saying is true about the American Indians, but you can almost say that not one promise the Democrat Party has made African Americans has been kept or is true. Because really, African Americans are prospering under Trump like they'd never prospered under the Democratic Party. And they've got freedoms, and we love our African American brothers. And we want everybody to be successful. So, but you don't get it under Democratic policies. What you get is a lot of unemployed people on food stamps and government aid and all that. It's terrible.
I'll tell you what, if there's any nationality that does deserve free health care and does deserve, whatever they can get for free. Now, granted, it would put them back to where they,
You don't want to give anybody stuff just for free and say you're set for life, because then they'll just be lazy and never do anything.
Well, for the Indian nations, it's not really free because they've been stealing it from them for, a couple hundred years now.
Hey, I got a solution. Why don't we let the Indian nations open up casinos?
Yeah. But here's the problem with the Indian nations on the casinos.
They can call it the Hard Rock Cafe.
The casinos and stuff, the average American Indian don't get jack squat off of it. It's the chiefs, and I'm going to have the Indian nations. I'm going to have my cousins and relatives pissed at me.
Wait a minute. The lottery's paying for education. The Florida lottery pays for education, right?
Yeah, my ass.
And
Have you been to Crescent City High
Indians
School?
get money.
There's
The
Bernie.
government lies to us. It's too much. Go ahead.
There's Bernie with the Indian nations. I wonder if he got up there and said, "I'm not like Pocahontas. I don't have any Indian blood in me."
Now, he
But I got to
actually
give
has
it.
Indian blood in him.
I got to
He
be fair
actually
about
is
it.
an Indian.
I got to be fair about it. He's the first candidate that's reached out to the Indian nations. Now, when Obama was in office, you know how he reached out to them? Because my relatives up in Montana and all over the place, when they were putting in the snake pipeline, Obama, under the Obama administration, signed by President Obama, went out and used water cannons on them in the middle of frickin' winter while they were in their churches, dragged them out, arrested them, and then one of my cousins, her best friend, got her frickin' arm blown off by a flash grenade. But they went out there and threatened them, and which is a bunch of crap. I got to give it to
That's
Bernie,
terrible.
and I told you
Hey, that's your big government at work. If the Democrat Party gets back in power, we'll get a lot more of that. We'll go right back to race riots, right back to dysfunctional government, because that's part of their playbook. The Democrats want to drive up the debt. They want to take our guns away so they can create a police state. They want to take control of our health care. They want to take control of every aspect of our life, and they want to tell us what we can eat, what we can't eat, and what we can eat with. These guys are about banning this, banning that, and they're just bad news. The Democrat Party has just lost their way. And I used to be a Democrat, and now they want to shut down free speech. They want to shut down good ideas, and they want to have a government take over everything. I think they really want to get in power so they can loot the country.
Yeah, what's the gal out in Hawaii's name that's running? Gabbard.
I love her.
Yeah, I love Gabbard. I mean, she is.
Me too.
She's
my favorite Democrat, to be honest.
Doug Williams says, "Hey, Greg."
Hey, Doug, what's up?
Doug's another one of our
Appreciate that
faithful
Super Bowl
listeners.
win.
Doug is. I love Doug, man. That guy is so cool. Hey, Greg. We need to get Greg on the show one night. Greg does not like anything. He's a good old American citizen. He's for freedom of speech, guns. I mean, everything. I don't even know if I think he's independent, but I'm not sure.
Who?
Doug Williams.
Oh, that's Greg. Yeah. Okay. I have to tell you, I will. Hey, for truth in advertising, I am a registered Republican, but I was prepared to walk away from the Republican Party, and then along came Trump. What can I tell you? Changed my life. It restored my faith in the American way. Living the American dream is a great thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't agree. You know, I'll go on Bernie here for a quick second. And
feel the burn. Feel the burn.
You know, here I think Nancy Pelosi said it best the other night when she said, you know, she's going after this fake ass thing that they got, which is another phony ass dossier on Trump. But why isn't any of the news sources said, just like Nancy Pelosi said when they were doing Obamacare? The reason that she went the day before is because just like with Obamacare, we have to pass it and then read it to find out what's in it. The same thing with this. Let's try to impeach Trump, then we'll read it.
That worked real good. That works out real good.
Hogwash.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable what you're saying. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but Pelosi has lost her mind. I mean, what is she now, 400?
Nah, I think Pelosi is, you know, she's getting near the end of her reign. You know, the Democrats look like they're going to be swept out of the House of Representatives to save the country. So we're all going to have to get our broom and sweep these Democrats out of power, because guess what? The Mexicans do more than the Democrats do to protect America. The Mexicans actually are doing more for our national security than the Democratic Party.
Well, you know,
is something that, you know, we got to sweep them out. I'm just letting you know. They've been a disaster. At least Paul Ryan's gone. We can probably get something really good going the next 3 or 4 years after the election, and actually make some progress on infrastructure and make progress on a lot of things, and have a lot of these problems solved. I think the president is the only one that has effectively engaged North Korea, and he's definitely taken on China, which needed to be done. And frankly, I think China and America can work it out. I think we have a lot to build on. We like, you know, Asian culture. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. But the problem with the Chinese is they're communists. We can't lose sight of the fact that they're a bunch of commies. The communists want to destroy the free enterprise system of America. You know, I don't care what they say. Ultimately, that's what they want to do. They want to take over the whole world if they could. They're building doggone military bases in the middle of the ocean, creating all kinds of environmental damage. And they're also polluting the hell out of the ocean with all their plastics. I mean, that's where most of the plastic crap comes in the ocean. Meanwhile, Bill Gates Foundation is doing a good job trying to clean up the plastic in the ocean. There's a lot of good organizations that are pulling this plastic out. You know, they can do that. We got the technology to clean it up.
Well, you know, you had old Shifty Shift up there. Now, 3 Democrats contacted Ukraine trying to pull dirt up on Trump. And now that Trump's contacted Ukrainian president, now they're coming back and saying this, oh, well, it's collusion, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we have a soundbite. We have a soundbite, and it's from, how the hell do you say it? I know the last name, Espanola. I have to give him credit. Morentos Espanoles. I believe it was close enough. Yeah, that's it. Chris said it. So we have to give them credit for this video. But Shifty Shift, the biggest collusion nut out there. Here's a soundbite we have from him. We're going to play it real quick. This is when he got caught with his pants down trying to dig up, which is, you know. All right. I'm going to put Mr. Schiff on the phone. You can't really hear it. Hang on. We have to adjust the sound out.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Schiff. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chairman.
Can you get any louder and start it over?
That's good. That's good.
I think it's because I'm deaf. Okay. Oh, here goes those shifty shift.
Hi. All right. I'm going to put Mr. Schiff on the phone, and then I guess are you going to transfer him to Mr. Karubi?
Yes, of course.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, Mr. Schiff. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
I know that you work for investigation regarding Trump and Russian government.
Yes,
We know some important information about that.
and that is documented as well in materials you want to provide to us?
Yes, could I explain you where we are?
Yes, of course, but again, I would just caution that our Russian friends may be listening to the conversation, so I wouldn't share anything over the phone that you don't want them to hear.
No, I don't think that it will impact on our investigation.
Yeah. Well, please go ahead then.
In November 2013, Mr. Trump visited Moscow. He visited competition Miss Universe, and there he met with the Russian journalist and celebrity Ksenia Sobchak.
I'm sorry, can you explain that again? While he was in Moscow in November 2013, he met with a journalist and
Well, she's poor journalist, but anyway, she became famous because of Putin is her godfather.
okay, Putin's godfather. Okay.
She also known as a person who provide girls for escort for oligarchs, and she met with Trump and she brought him one our Russian girl celebrity Olga Buzova, who also known as a person with a strange reputation.
Olga, and how do you spell her name?
Olga Buzova.
Buzova. So
Yes.
Olga Buzova is a friend of the reporter.
Yes, she's a friend of reporter and I think the special agent of Russian Secret Service, Ksenia Sobchak.
That Sobchak is or Olga is?
No, Sobchak is Ksenia.
Okay, and so Buzova met with Trump in at some point after the 2013 Miss Universe
Yes.
pageant.
Absolutely, and she got compromising materials on Trump after their short relations.
Okay, and
Bu-
and what's the nature of the compromise?
Well, there were pictures of naked Trump.
Okay. And so Putin was made aware of the availability of the compromising material?
Yes, of course, Buzova shared those materials with Sobchak, and Sobchak shares those materials with Putin because she's a goddaughter of Putin, and Putin decided to press on Trump.
And the materials that you can provide to the committee or to the FBI, would they corroborate this allegation?
Sure, of course. When they were in Ukraine, we got their conversation by the phone where they discussed those compromising materials. We are ready to provide it to FBI.
So you have recordings of both Sobchak and Buseva where they're discussing the compromising material on Mr. Trump?
Absolutely. And we also know who was a mediator between Trump and Russian government, who met with ex-advisor of Trump, Mr. Flynn. It was a Russian singer, very famous singer, Arkady Ukupnik, who met with Mr. Flynn on Brighton Beach in Brooklyn in a special Russian cafe, Langeron.
What's the name of the cafe?
Langeron.
Langeron?
Yes, it's on the Brighton Beach.
Okay. And
It's a special. It's a Russian district in Brooklyn.
And do you know what was discussed?
They discussed many things, but the most interesting thing is they used a special password before their meetings. When they met each other, they said weather is good on Deribasovskaya.
Weather
It rains.
is good.
Yeah.
In where?
Weather is good on Deribasovskaya. There is a name of a street in Odessa.
Did you hear?
Yes, I did. So it's a street in Odessa.
Yes.
And the code word is weather is good on Zerobasta?
Deribasovskaya. Deribasovskaya.
Zerobasta-skaya. Skaya, okay. And I'll have my staff follow up to get spellings and more details on
Yes.
And the second part of their password was "It rains again on Brighton Beach."
It rains again on Brighton Beach.
Yes.
On that meeting, Gupnik told Flynn that all those compromising materials will never released if Trump will cancel all Russian sanctions.
Okay. Well, obviously, we would welcome a chance to get copies of those recordings. So we will try to work with the FBI to figure out, along with your staff, how we can obtain copies of those.
Of course, we will provide you all our copies of all our materials, but I also would like to let you know that Sobchak and Buzova will pretty soon visit our country, and we could arrest them and deliver them to your embassy, and we also could extradite them to your country, and you can put them to your special jail, Guantanamo.
Well, I'll be in touch with the FBI about this, and we'll make arrangements with the staff. I think it probably would be best to provide these materials to both our committee and to the FBI. And so we'll make arrangements between my staff and yours on how to facilitate that. And we'll also obviously let the FBI know about Busova and Sobchak's planned travel to Ukraine.
I also advise you to check all Sobchak's visits in the U.S. because she was in the U.S. very often, and just to check what she did there actually. And I also would like to look at Russian cafe on Brighton Beach, Langeron, and especially on their head of Russian mafia, Uncle Misha.
Uncle Misha? And
Yes.
he's in Brighton Beach?
Yes, he's the head of Russian mafia, and he's located on that restaurant on Brighton Beach.
Okay.
I just want to advise you just look at them, please.
Alrighty. Good. This is very helpful. I appreciate it. Anything else you wanted to add today?
Well, I hope that my information will be useful for you and your committee, and I also would like to advise you when you or your colleagues will meet Mr. Trump, I advise you to tell him first part of the password on the weather is good on Deribasovskaya, and look how his face will change the color.
And so those
Oh,
passwords
shit.
with Mr. Trump?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We will be back in touch with you through our staff to make arrangements to obtain these materials for our committee and for the FBI. And I appreciate you reaching out to us.
Well, let's be in touch, and I will wait for your response from FBI.
Excellent. I'll have them follow up as soon as possible. And I thank you again.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, does that sound like somebody colluding? What an idiot. You know.
Hey, the guy has a real hard time with truth. But, that just goes to show the hypocrisy of it all. They're so hypocritical. They're projecting everything they've accused our president of doing. They're the ones that have done it. They're the ones that were colluding. They're the ones that were buying intelligence from foreign governments trying to take our president down. Everything they've accused Trump of doing, they've done. It's simply projecting. They're trying to get out in front of these indictments that are going to be coming down on some of the deep state.
Oh yeah, look at Ukraine. You got Hunter Biden that goes over there, knows absolutely nothing about freaking energies at all. Nothing about gas and oil, anything else. Walks out of there, $60,000 a month, $500,000 a year. Then he hops on Air Force Two with his daddy, goes over to China and walks out with $1.5 billion, not million, $1 billion.
Hey,
Flies in.
Sounds like the Hillary Foundation.
And people can say what they want, but Trump has every right as commander in chief to call up Ukraine, and here's old Shifty Shift. He's a mafia guy. He's treating it like the mafia. They got the president from Ukraine saying, no, it wasn't like that.
If this Schiff, and I don't know who's dumber, Schiff or that guy Swarthmore, who ran for president, who was a complete joke out of California, wanted to take everybody's guns away, and he's the first Democrat to drop out. I don't know who's dumber. They have some really dumb representatives in California.
Nadler.
California, you need to get the doggone broom and start sweeping these Democrats out of power because they're infecting our country with stupid ideas. The American people have rejected just about every policy idea they have, yet they still want to shove it down our throats. You know, I want to be able to eat hamburgers. I want my kids to be able to eat hamburgers and like their kids to be able to eat hamburgers. You know, and you know what? I'm not in a hurry to drive an electric car. I'll drive them. I heard they're fast and fun to drive. But, you know, I'm not going to pay $75,000 for one. You know, so did you hear about the electric Tesla police car in California that the battery died in the middle of a high-speed chase?
No, I didn't look at that one yet.
Yeah, well, the guy got away, okay? So all I can say
I did see that.
You know, electric, you know, whenever there's a natural disaster, thank God for power tools and gas-operated saws and, you know, and blowers and lawnmowers and tractors and earth movers. Because without energy, we're all in the Stone Age, which is where the Democratic Party would take us back to tribalism and Stone Age.
There won't even be tribal.
What they're trying to do is pit everybody against each other anyway. They have no good ideas. They're a bunch of socialists. All they want is big government and power, and they're ridiculous, and they'll lie and steal to get it.
Well, there won't even
happen.
There won't even be that though, Greg. If you take away the oxen and the cows and the horses, what's going to pull the plows? I mean, if you get rid of the farting animals.
They will use human labor at that point, okay? I mean, hey, all I can tell you is the Democrats
slavery all over.
Corrupt. They're so corrupt. It's just terrible.
Doug said,
I don't know.
Doug said, that sounds like bend over and let me put it in and you figure out what it is afterwards. Joe Lisa writes in and says, if the Democrats will quit letting the illegals vote, we might have a chance that the Republicans are fixing our country. And you know what? Jolie's got a good point there. Because I haven't heard one damn thing. The Republicans have Ted Cruz, I read his proposal on the gun thing. Now, that's one of the few gun things that I agree with. You know, and he's, for you that don't know, Ted is out of Texas. Big guns out there. They believe in it. But he has a proposal to fix a lot of the gun issues. And with this crap coming down the line, I haven't seen the House or Congress do jack squat here since they've been in office, except for, and this goes for the Republicans too, because they could push the crap and they could go after the House and Congress to get these laws passed. Where in the hell do the American citizens come in this? Because you have collusion investigation going on for 2 years, millions and millions of dollars, and now you got this crap. When in the hell are they going to get off their asses in Congress and the House and start doing something for the American people? I mean, there's so much they have to fix.
They're incapable. They're blinded by their hatred of the president and all things free enterprise and all things good for America. Hey, this country is starting to get back its mojo. America's got its mojo back under Trump.
Well, what are the Dems running under for right now? Because the only thing that I see.
They want to raise taxes and kill black babies.
Except for, you know, I see what Bernie's running.
I mean, that's really what they're doing, you know.
Well, I see what Bernie's running on. Bernie's running on, you know, it might not be the best plans, but he's at least trying to do something with health care. And he's trying to do, you know, other things. Elizabeth Warren, I still haven't figured her out. Because yesterday, I think it was Fox News that went up and asked her, said, if your son was going to a foreign nation and was going to stand to get billions of dollars, you know, or millions of dollars, working with another company over there, would you agree with that? She said, you know, I don't know. She sounded like a complete retard.
Well, yeah. She also
Probably
sounds
gonna get in trouble
bad
for saying
when
retard,
she won't
but
answer the
screw it.
question of will taxes go up under her rule. Of course they would. The Democrats can't wait to get in power, to screw the middle class, to impose their social control over every aspect of our life. Next thing you know, they'll be taking chocolate milk out of public schools.
Yeah, they're like De Blasio. But you know,
well, what they're already doing it. Golly Moses.
the perfect tax plan is 10% for everybody across the board. If you've got $1 billion,
I like that.
if you got $1 billion, 10%. Now I read a thing from a guy years ago.
That's on income. They call it income tax. Go ahead.
Yeah, I met a guy who was actually a Democrat over in St. Pete years ago, and him and I sat down and had conversations, and we came up with a solution. And at the time, I was a Republican. I wasn't an independent, and we came up with a solution that we gave. If they took everybody that was over 55 in the United States, which at that time I think it was like there was only like 10 million or 20 million people at that time that were over that age. Take everybody that was over 55, give them all $1 million on the condition that in that $1 million that they bought a brand new house. Now, if they already owned a house, they either had the option of giving the new house to a person that was homeless or a mother that needed, kids, that had kids and it was trying to raise them. Not some crackhead, but somebody was legitimately trying to do something.
Whatever. Hey, it sounds like big government to me.
No. Check this plan out, because that would have helped the housing market out at that time, because we were in a recession with the housing market. Then, out of that $1 million, they also had to buy an American-made vehicle. If they had another vehicle that they liked, they could either keep that vehicle or give the new vehicle away. That would have helped out the automobile industry.
Hey, you've been hanging out with your Democrat friends too much.
No. And with the job experience they have, like you being an attorney, you would have to take an understudy on your own time and help this person. If you were a carpenter, you had to take somebody on and pay their salary.
Really? So
and
now
teach
we're
them
going to have the
something.
government mandating what private workers and employees and entrepreneurs need to do. See, that's the whole point. You're buying into the whole socialist big government. Government is the problem.
No, this had nothing to do with
It's
socialism.
always been the problem.
This had nothing to do with.
You're talking about, let's go ahead and take $1 million and give everybody $1 million.
No, not everybody.
With these requirements. That's ridiculous.
Anybody that's over 55, because
Still ridiculous.
you know as well
Still
as I
ridiculous.
do that trades are lost anymore. Everything has gone to super technology. There's not enough carpenters. There's not enough plumbers. There's not enough electricians.
No. Trades
Not
are
enough.
coming back. Trades are back.
Well, they are
Everything's
now,
back.
but
Everything's coming back.
they are now. But this was
All back.
this was back in the 80s. This is what I'm talking about back
That's
then.
what I'm saying. It was a bad idea in the 80s, and it's still a bad idea.
It's a great idea.
I frankly don't know why you're talking about it.
Because my whole point of this whole conversation is him and I set for that time in history. It would have been a good deal, because when you die, that money didn't go back to your family. That money got put.
Why not?
Because it got put back into the next person that was turning 55. But you had to help with industry, with trades.
Wow. I just
But
thought that
my
whole
whole
thing
point-
smells of big government. I don't like it.
My whole point at that time was that I was a Republican. This guy was a Democrat. The thing is that we were able to sit down and come up with a solution, at least work on a solution. These jackasses now in Congress, whether our plan would have worked or not, at least we were willing to sit down and work on something.
No, you bring up a good point. Tip O'Neill, who was a Democrat, probably the last great Democrat Speaker of the House was Tip O'Neill. Every Speaker of the House since Tip O'Neill couldn't touch Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill walked across the aisle, and he and Reagan got a lot done that helped the country, that was good for the country. They set aside some of the petty partisan stuff and got stuff done. You can't do that with Pelosi. She had a chance to be a Tip O'Neill. She is a joke. She's more partisan than Mitchell. Mitchell finally got swept out of office. Pelosi needs to go. She's lost her mind. The Democratic policies are terrible for the country. And frankly, they were selling the country out under Obama. I don't want a weak America. I want a strong America. The president's speech at the United Nations about countries defending their borders and identifying as with their fellow countrymen is a big deal. We need that. I mean, this whole globalist one world thing is crap. I mean, go smoke a joint and listen to a Beatles album if you want, But, keep that politics away. We have to be Americans first, like the president said. He's the president of America, not the world. England can take care of England's problems. France can take care of France's problems. But the way these big foreign leaders want to jump up and oh man, global climate change, let's grab 20% of everybody's income and do nothing. When the United Nations then comes out and says, gee, we need to plant more trees to solve global warming. Well, hey, who don't know that? Let's plant some trees. Why we got to spend, 20% of the gross national product on taxes and government bureaucracy that won't solve any problems based on fake science. They politicize the science. It's ridiculous.
No, we're fine.
Yep, we had a glitch go on in the system for a second, so.
That's okay. They let me talk more than they should have.
Well, I'm going to give you the last, your last minute here. We're down to 4 minutes, and so go ahead, shoot, Greg.
Well, all I can say is it's disappointing to watch the Democrats continue to try to destroy this country. It's all out of the Saul Alinsky playbook that Obama used. Frankly, all the Obama people, folks, they're all working for CNN now, just about everyone. They got Donna Brazile over there at Fox trying to, propagandize Fox with the Democrats' ideas. But really, it's like a revolving door. Democrat administration, CNN, New York Times, Washington Post, and, back and forth. They go back and forth. And they are the deep state. They're part of it. They're crooked. It is what it is. I just wish that the country could get together and move forward. But until they impeach the president and the president then is retained in power, because the Senate's not going to go along, the Senate can shut down the nonsense, and then Trump can roll the re-election in a landslide, and then the next 4 years can be even better than the previous 3 or 4 that Trump has got right now. I think we're 3. We got 1 more year to go in the first term. But I will say this. He's done a lot, and I feel good about America. I feel good about our direction.
Yep, I feel the same way on, the way things are going right now. God forbid anybody else get in there at this moment in time in history and screw it up. Because the economy's doing good. I mean, I look around, even in Palaca, there's businesses starting to finally come here. People are moving back here. There's some good things that I can see even in the small communities. And when I go to the big communities, the big cities, I mean, look at St. Johns County, even Jacksonville. You got new businesses moving there all the time.
One last thing. One thing that really bothered me about the Obama administration? It was during the Obama administration that political correctness continued to raise its ugly head. And damn if they didn't kick Hank Williams off Monday Night Football. Hank Williams Jr. was the best. He was the bomb on Monday Night Football. And they got rid of him, and I'm pretty sure it was under Obama's watch. That's all I got to say. I love Hank Williams Jr. When you see him, tell him I said hello.
I put him right up there with Skinner.
There you
We're going to go redneck.
God bless you, man. God bless you.
All right, Greg. I will catch you. I'll probably see you. I've got to be up at Jacksonville.
God and guns, baby. God, guns in America. You got to love it.
Give me a call this weekend. I'm going to be up at Jacksonville, up in Orange Park up there.
Can't wait. And good luck with that upcoming medical issue you got going on.
All right, Greg. Hey, you have a good one. We'll see you Monday then.
All right, take care.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
That was Greg Williams, attorney at law. If you need a good attorney, Greg does represent Putnam County. I mean, he will come down here. It's not his, and of course, he's out of Jacksonville. But Greg will come down and represent you. Unless you have a murder trial going on, don't call him. He doesn't like to do murder trials because too many guilty people, I guess. I don't know. But 904-358-8180, 904-358-8180. I did have a chance to go out and visit with a couple local businesses this week. One of the guys is starting up a new business. You guys need to check out his business over in Palaca. It's right there at the corner of 119. It's Derek, I believe it's Williams. He has a fencing company. The guy has some great deals on stuff. Matter of fact, I'm going to hire him to do some fencing around my place. You might want to check him out. Satsuma Produce will be opening up for all you that keep calling the office wondering if they close down for good. No, they work their butts off all year long. They are on vacation till October 4th. The stand in Satsuma and in East Palaca will be opening. Today there was a lot of wrecks. I think in an hour and a half, there was 6 to 9 wrecks. that we counted that came over the police scanner. You guys be careful when you're out there. To the Pavich family, Gloria passed away. Her funeral is Saturday. If you guys want to still drop off a donation to help the family out, they still have the GoFundMe account and stuff. You can go on the Putman Way and type in Gloria on there, and it should be in the search bars, or Google it. Put Gloria Pavich. I think that's how you say it. Or you can look under the pig video I did. Just screw down where I had to scroll down to where I had to go in there and kiss the pig. Or the hog. It wasn't a pig. It wasn't cute and cuddly. It was a big old ugly thing. And try to help the family out. To Jeff and the family over there, man, my heart goes out to you, and you're in our prayers every night, every day. So I know how hard that is. So I think that's about it, except to say, you know, like you heard tonight, Greg and I don't always agree on stuff. And I gave the little synopsis there of how me and a Democrat buddy of mine had sat down one time and kind of came up with a proposal. That was, of course, at a different time. It was in the 70s, 80s, when things were really bad, when we were going through a piss-poor recession. Gas was up there. Not like now. We're the leading producers of coal and gasoline and stuff in the world. Exporters and exporters. But we even have enough fuel here now. It was a complete different time. But my whole point to that conversation that I had with my Democratic buddy over there was that a Republican, a Democrat, and an independent should be able to sit down and come up with a solution. You know, call your Congress people. Yeah, the one thing that you guys, our local government, you know, I heard a guy saying, don't jump on my employee's ass, you know, here at a meeting not too long ago. And then got mouthy after a meeting with me. I got news for you. For all you people that are in big government and small government, take your heads out of your asses. You aren't above us. I don't know where in the hell you think you come from, but this big government crap is bull. We, the people, are your bosses. You work for us. You need to start listening to us. Quit talking amongst yourselves and thinking what you think is best for us. We know what is best for us. You don't. And apparently your heads get shoved so far up your ass, you can't tell where you're in and begin. You look like a freaking donut going down the road. You're getting fat, literally fat. I don't know how you guys can go into office, piss poor broke, and come out millionaires and stuff. In our local government, you go in and you're getting fat and rich. But you're not listening to the people that voted for you. And people, if you want to change things, start voting. If you're a convicted felon and you've done your time, and I know some convicted felons that got busted for pot, for writing bad checks, for doing stuff that wasn't really criminal, that didn't hurt anybody else. It hurt you more. But your voting rights are back now. And what you can do is go down, get your voter ID card. You can go over here and see Overture over here in Palaca at the government building. Go in there and sign up for your voter ID. But when it comes down to the end of the day and you don't like what's happening in our government, it's your own damn fault if you're not out voting and keeping up with what is going on in our governments. If you want marijuana, but I haven't been smoking. If you want marijuana legalized, quit bitching about it. Go out and vote for it. If you don't want it legalized, go out and vote against it. If you don't like somebody that's in office, quit bitching because they're in there. Because if you didn't vote, you don't have a bitch. So shut the hell up. Get out and vote. And people, quit voting party. As you heard me say tonight, what's her name? Out of Hawaii. Gabbard. I like Gabbard. She's a Democrat out of Hawaii. I like Gabbard. I like what she has to say. Will I vote for her for president? Probably not. She doesn't have the experience in business that it takes. And our country is not it's a business. And if you or I have a business, say you own a construction company or you own a boutique or a bakery, if you hire somebody to come in and run your company and all of a sudden they drive it down into the ground and then you're broke and you have to take out credit cards to bail it out, and every year you are so far in freaking debt, You need somebody in office that is a good business person, because our government, local and federal and state, is a business, and it needs business people in there to run it. Do your damn research, find out who the best candidate is, and then vote for that candidate, not for that party. And I'll tell you what, when you do that and people start doing that, the world will be a lot better off. I don't agree with what the Democrats are doing right now. I don't agree with what a lot of the Republicans are doing right now. They're setting up on Capitol Hill, and they're not doing anything but trying to kick a president out of office instead of trying to work with him and come up with solutions. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party need to get off their asses and work together to make things work. Quit bitching about impeaching. It's not going to happen. All this phony crap that's going on ain't worth a hill of beans. And for you Democrats that keep trying to fry Trump, it's not going to happen. The man is too smart. Okay, he didn't become a billionaire because he's retarded. He became a billionaire because he is a good businessman. He knows, and he got through a lot of the tax loops, but that was because our government put those tax loops in there. The rich people that are in there that are getting tax breaks, big-time tax breaks, don't bitch about it. Our government is the one who set those tax things up for them to use, just like they do for you and I. If you want it changed, get your ass out there and vote. We have elections coming up here locally. We have state elections coming up, and we have national elections coming up next year. So start learning your candidates. Quit bitching until you know all your information. Don't be spouting off at the mouth. I study politics every day for at least 3 or 4 hours a day. And I don't just watch one news source. I watch multiple news sources. I take all the information. I printed off Trump's phone call to the Ukrainian president. I read the whole thing before I even made a decision on what was going on. The same with the kid, what was the kid's name? That they said was up there trashing the Indian.
Oh, I can't remember.
Crap, I can't remember his name. But the kid they said was trashing the Indian, the kid never said jack squat to him. But the media made it out to be way more than it was. And I'll tell you what, if you listen to the media and you don't do your own research, then you're a dumbass. You know, Shepard Smith on Fox News, can't stand the guy. I mean, I'm sure he's got some good points about him, but I don't like what he has to say because he's too negative on everything. So, and the same with CNN. They spend more time trashing Trump than they do covering different things. There's a lot of our local news sources. We had a man over here at GE the other day that lost his legs. You know, where's the coverage on that? But there wasn't any. It was too much going on. Oh, let's talk about impeaching Trump. You know, let's talk about collusion. Let's talk about this crap. Why don't we talk about this man that's in our local neighborhoods? This man needs help right now. I'm sure his family needs help. I'm sure they need, GoFundMe. You got Jeff, was a volunteer firefighter for years, and then he was a firefighter at Satsuma. His wife passed away. You guys need to quit focusing on crap like this that's going on and start focusing on our local people. That's what's going to make this country turn around and be great again. When we get back to raising our kids in our neighborhoods, when we start getting some cojones or some balls, kicking the drug addicts out of our neighborhoods, kicking the bad people out, getting rid of the meth dealers, the crack dealers, the fentanyl dealers in our own communities, and people need to start doing their neighborhood watch programs and go out and kick these son of a bitches out. Don't let them take over your neighborhoods. One moves in, get them the hell out. I don't give a damn if they're black, white, Chinese, or purple. If they start throwing a race card up in there, start throwing the drug card at them. But get them the hell out of your neighborhoods. You want the place to change? Then take it. Make it change. Take that by the cojones there and run with it. Once you tear the balls off a bull, it ain't a bull anymore. It's a freaking cow. But quit bitching. To our servicemen, we lost some more service people over in Afghanistan and in a few other different places. I think what we're going to do is start putting those service people up like they used to do in a local newspaper in the 60s when people were over in Nam. We're going to start getting a list of the servicemen and women that are killed, and we're going to run those at the end of the shows from now on. To our servicemen and women, thank you so much for helping and fighting for our freedoms. our right to freedom of speech, our right to hold a rifle and defend ourselves against a tyrannic damn government. But to our EMS workers and stuff and our first responders, thank you so much. And I got to give a shout out to Daniel over at Waste Pro. You know, I was in a county meeting the other day, and the bridge out in Barden, this bridge has been for 60 years, has been sitting there and deteriorating. Now you have school buses that can't even get across this bridge to get the kids there, and the parents is a big pain in the butt. EMS can't get across it. And anything over 17 tons cannot get across that bridge. Why? Because the people that were in charge of that in our local government knew about it a long time ago, but never did a damn thing about it. But I watched a man over there, Daniel, from Waste Pro, and you guys can say whatever you want about our trash pickup. Some of you bitch about it and complain because you have to go up and pick out your trash can because it fell over. Get over it. I watched this man get very emotional when he couldn't get into the neighborhoods to get the trash pickup and trying to come up with a plan because he was only given a 12-hour advancement of what was going on. But I watched this man in there. I mean, he looked like he was going to break down. He was that distraught about it. Daniel, thank you so much for your service to our community from Waste Pro. Man, you rock. You kick ass. And for you people, you should be thanking him for what he's done. I'm going to do a special video on that probably on this weekend or Monday. I'll be running a video about Waste Pro. And no, Waste Pro did not contact me, and I hope I don't get Daniel in trouble. I don't know Daniel personally. I've never been out to lunch with him. I've never hung out with him. My kids don't know his kids. I just know from the job that I've seen him doing for years now in this county. You guys and gals, guys and gals, don't call the man up and bitch because your trash isn't getting picked up. You want to bitch at somebody? Bitch at our officials that and whoever let this bridge get in this condition. Bitch about that, but don't call him up and bitch because your trash is not getting taken out. Don't call up the school district and bitch at them because your kids, your little darlings, aren't getting picked up. It's not their fault. But especially Daniel at Waste Pro, do not call up and bitch them out. They are working very, 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 very hard. And Jolie says, I watched the meeting and I saw the emotion as well. Yeah, he did. I mean, if every business in Putnam County was like Daniel was in that meeting, I guarantee, and I don't even know Daniel's last name, but I guarantee you this county would be, I mean, phenomenal to live in. But anyways, to Daniel over there, I want to thank you for, for your service to our community. Like I say, don't call Daniel up and bitch at him because that man, he's figuring out a plan, and I think he already has a plan, but they're having to drive miles and miles and miles around just to get your trash picked up. So if they're a little late or they don't make it till the next day, don't call them up and scream at them. I'll ask him to give me a list of the people, and then I'll run your names for being an asshole on the screen every night. Anyways, thank you guys and gals for listening to Mr. Steve up in Louisiana. Hello to his wife and his kids. To Annette and Audrey up there, hello. To Tammy, my partner in crime at the Putnam Way. She's always doing kick-ass. Today she was working her butt off with all the wrecks and stuff. Make sure you guys give her a shout-out and a thank you when you get a chance. She lives all the way in Tampa, but she's gracious enough for free to keep you guys and gals up with the information. Go on the Putnam Way if you're watching this on Radio Co. or YouTube or IITW Radio, either the website or via Facebook. Go on the Putnam Way and give her a big thank you. All right, guys and gals, I got to get out of here. I ain't got to go home, but I got to get out of here. We'll see you back here sometime this coming week. We'll announce it earlier. I've got some cancer surgeries. I've got 2 surgeries coming up this coming week, and I'm not sure. I can only do so much. So the ONeill is closing us out. Calvin O opened it up with One Nation Under God. Great kick butt song. Calvin, thank you very much for letting us use your music. ONeill with Brother in Arms. What a great song that is. He closes out our Problems in an American Democracy every time we have the show on the air, which is once a week. It will be on. We might be moving it to Thursday nights because there's a lot of people going out with their kids to the football games. But I got to get out of here. We love you. We'll see you back here. I'm out.
See the guitar in the corner, it's the one I learned to play on. Believe me or not, it's been all around the world. It's been back and forth to Georgia, Carolina a couple times. But there's that one trip that takes me back in time. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. To a different time with my old man, watching the old dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. Well, they're always among us, brothers in arms. Back to those nights, I'm sitting there, writing letters home, to picking that old 6-string just to keep from feeling alone. Seen some tough times, some crying eyes, but never quit on me. Been through hell and back, even brought us back to where our hearts need to be. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. A different time with my old man, watching them old dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. And they're always among us, brothers in arms. On a plane ride to a foreign land, a journey had begun. To a different time with my old man, watching them old dogs run, telling stories and comparing battle scars. Well, they're always among us, brothers in